determine whether the function is even, odd, or neither. In our previous video, we talked about how we can find these functions by looking at the graph. But now what happens when you get an equation? Well, let's do a little quick review, guys. Today, we're going to focus on an odd function first. So let's focus on odd function. An odd function is if I were to plug in a negative x, just the opposite, whatever it is, I'm going to get the opposite of the original answer. So my original was a positive f function. Well, if it was a positive, my answer for the next one would be a negative one. So what do I mean by that? Let's do a little quick example here. If we were to plug in a negative x, so for every x, we replace it with a negative x. Look at this. So for every x, we replace it with a negative x. There we go. To the 9th minus parentheses negative x to the power of 3 plus 7 parentheses negative x. And now we're going to simplify these exponents. Well, to do this, guys, we need to make sure to find out what's negative x to the power of 11. Well, that means we're going to multiply the negative x 11 times. That means that's a negative x times 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 a negative x. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oops. Let me just make them spread them out. 9, 10, 11. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oops. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, now let's multiply these and see what we get. Well, these two are going to make a positive times another one is going to make a negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. Notice how it's switching signs. Negative, positive, and negative. So my end result will be negative x to the power of 11. So let's simplify. That will be negative 10 times negative x to the 11th plus, well, negative x to the 9th power. To the 9th power, we would get, if that was to the negative 8 times the 9th one, we'd get a negative answer. That would be negative x to the 9th minus, what would be the third? 1, 2, 3. We get a negative. So that'll be negative x to the 3rd power. And guys, positive 7 times negative x, that will be negative 7x. Okay, guys, keep it going. So now let's multiply these two. Negative 10 times negative x to the 11th, that will be a positive 10 to the x 11th. This will make it a minus x 9th. These two would make it a positive x cubed minus 7x. All right, so once again, how do we know this is an odd function? When we plugged in the negative x, we get the exact opposite. So if this was a positive and we plugged in a negative x, we would get a negative answer. And if this was a negative initially and we plugged in the opposite, we get a positive answer. So let's look at the original, guys. This one originally is a negative 10, so this is negative. This is originally a positive, so that's a positive. That's a negative term. That's a positive term. Well, let's look at the new answer, guys. This was negative, but now this is positive. This used to be positive, but this term is now negative. This used to be negative, but this term is now positive. And the last term is now negative. So because each single term completely flipped, that's how we know it's an odd function.